Hello, everyone, and welcome to USA Global TV, home of talking heads. And a big shout out to our friends listening on Business Talk Radio out of New York. I'm Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and our show today is The Power of Etiquette and Manners. Joining me, as always, is my co-host and friend, Richard Cullinan. He is the director at the British School of Excellence. He is an emotional intelligence expert. He is an artist. He is a creative. He is someone who is heart-centric, and he's here with us today. Let's bring him out. Hi, Richard.
Hi, Dr. Jacalyn. Awesome to be with you this morning.
Well, it's so nice to see you, your smiling face and the positive energy coming out of you. I really appreciate it. And you brought an amazing guest. Of course, I'm so into style. But before we bring out Elsa, let's talk a little bit about you and your work with the British School of Excellence.
Okay, well, firstly, it's really an honor to represent the British School of Excellence on your show today. I am really standing in for my partner and the principal of the British School of Excellence, Philip Sykes, who couldn't be here today. But it's an absolute honor for me to be here. And I'm the director of the EQ faculty, the Emotional Intelligence faculty at the British School of Etiquette. I also run emotional intelligence programs for the school, facilitate and coach them. And I also do personal development coaching for our clients. Now, it's a tremendous, I'm tremendously excited about the show today because, like I think all of us, whether we are male or female, we could do with some advice on how to dress. And I certainly tried my best today, and I hope I look all right. But I'm sure Elsa, who's going to be joining us, might be able to have a comment or some advice to give me. So I'm as excited as you, Dr. Jacalyn, about learning about image and style on the show today.
Brilliant. Thank you. I think something that's really important, obviously, we've been in this pandemic for so long and people have started dressing differently. I know with me, I, on a regular basis, am wearing logo merchandise from the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. Usually you'll see me with a t-shirt or some kind of, because that's so important to me. But for the show, I try to always dress and be stylish. And my point is that I think we've gotten a certain level of comfort in wearing casual type clothes, leisure clothes, yoga wear, etc. And so as the holidays come, as we get back out there, as we start to interact with other people, I'm interested to hear from Elsa, what should we be wearing? How should we show up when we think about etiquette and manners? I feel like style also goes along with that, because when we show up dressed a certain way, it could be disrespectful to certain people. Or if we show up to a presentation and we're wearing sweatpants with the elastic around the ankles, there's a certain perception that people get about you and the image that you're presenting. So no judgment, but I think it's how we're perceived. And I'm interested in Elsa's thoughts and yours as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, when it comes to etiquette and manners, it's always about putting your best foot forward. And every time you have an opportunity to be in front of an audience or a client, or even in a social environment, I think going the extra mile to look good is going to help you to feel good. It's going to help you to feel in control. And it's going to give you more opportunities for your business or even making friends. And you mentioned the pandemic, so Zoom or StreamYard, like we are using this app at the moment, has become commonplace. And I think I think initially, at the beginning of the pandemic, people were a bit blasé about the way they looked online. But I see that there has been an improvement, and people have almost reverted back to the way they presented themselves pre-pandemic now. So I think people are really trying, whether it's in person or online.
I agree with you. I see that the way people are showing up for the programs as well. One thing I also wanted to touch on, and this has nothing to do with the pandemic, was well before the pandemic, living here on the East Coast and then traveling to different parts of the country, I was surprised at certain places I would go where people were wearing sweat clothes. They're in a restaurant and they're dressed for the gym. And I know at least in New York area, Northeast area, Philadelphia, many times people are dressed a certain way in a professional manner or style. Even traveling by plane or by train, it used to be, and I'm talking years and years ago, people dressed to travel. And then all of a sudden that seemed to change. And it was, I got out of my bed and I went to the airport. It was just people were almost looking like they're in pajamas. So I'd really like to chat with Elsa about that as well. So what do you say we bring her out?
Absolutely. Let's go for it.
All right. Welcome to the program, Elsa. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to be here today.
We're excited to have you as well. So, Elsa, do you say your name Boutaric?
Boutaric, yes.
Boutaric. Beautiful. Where are you joining us from today?
Paris.
Oh, I love Paris, my favorite city. And how apropos that as a style expert, as an image consultant, that you are in Paris, where fashion has always been so important and forthcoming for what people can expect when we see style and new fashion lines launched.
Sorry, the line was cutting. Would you mind repeating the question?
Oh, no, I was just making a statement that how apropos that you're in Paris, which is the fashion capital where so many beautiful, wonderful trends come out for the next year. So, Elsa, give us a little bit of your background and how and why style is important to you.
Sure. So I'm a personal stylist, image consultant. I've worked in fashion for more than 10 years now, and I started to work in London in merchandising, moving up to styling and editorial, and then slowly moving my way up to personal styling and image consulting. To me, style is pretty much everything. It's character. It's basically something that defines you, defines your true self, who you are. To me, style is not about trend and what you need to follow according to what is the latest must have, but pretty much how do you want to express yourself to the world by being and remaining your authentic self. And so to me, style is really about daring to be you. And why it's very important? Well, we live in a world where everything is going very fast, right? And people make an opinion of you within the 7 seconds they meet you. And so really, if you really have something to offer, no matter what it is, people are going to pay more attention to you if you really own who you are, no matter your style, but if you really own who you are. And when you own who you are with your clothes, with your style, you do project confidence about yourself. And so that energy is just, people see that, people can feel it, right? So it really can open door for you. And that's why I can't stress enough why it is very important just to make an effort. Everybody is different. We all have different lifestyle, budget, style, character, and that's completely fine. But no matter who you are and how you stand, just make that little effort about style, and you will just feel the difference. You will feel more confident. People will look at you very much differently, and clothes is such an amazing tool to create that impact with others.
Thank you, Elsa. Hopefully when you were backstage, you heard a little bit about the chat Richard and I were having about, especially here in the States, it's there's a level of comfort that seems to be taking over fashion or taking over a person's go-to for style. So what are your thoughts about that? When is it acceptable to wear our yoga clothes, our workout clothes, our pajamas outside of our home or in front of an audience, whether it's on the computer or in person?
What I would say, what is very important to take into consideration, that this is what I always say, it's your TOP, time, occasion, people. So obviously, if you are a job interview, you just don't want to show up to that interview being wearing, sweatpants and being very casual, right? So you want to adapt your outfit based on where you are going, who you are going to meet, and what is the message that you want to come across. In terms of how things have kind of shifted during COVID, being casual is not especially a bad thing if you really are casual in the right environment. So every occasion have they go to style and they go to outfits. When it comes to business, when it comes to working in a corporate environment, when it comes to even just go out, in the street and just, go do your daily thing. Obviously, you want to be dressed up. So to me, casual loungewear are really fine when you are home or when you are perhaps going on a very casual Sunday brunch with friends, perhaps, and you really want to be very casual. It depends also where you live. For instance, I know in Miami, where I used to live, a lot of women were active wear during the day, and actually sometimes, and most of the time, I would say, they were putting up, very much trendy outfits with the active wear, and that was fun in Miami, right? It was completely fun in Miami to see them having brands outside in a very nice and trendy activewear look, and that was fine for that environment. So every environment have their own way and their own audience, and you really need to understand that when you dress up yourself.
Really good points. And Elsa, if you could just share with us again, TOP stands for?
Time, occasion, and people. So, for instance, if you go for lunch with your family member, you might be okay to be very casual because, well, it's your family member, right? It's whatever. But if you go for an interview, well, you're going to have to put an effort because there's something that you need to close a deal, you need to sell yourself, you need to present yourself a certain way. So each occasion has a way to dress up.
Thank you.
That's what I'm looking at, yeah.
Thank you. Richard, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I was very interested about the 7 seconds that it takes people to make an impression of you. And Elsa, in my studies, really looking at the research done by Dr. Amy Cuddy, she talks about what we look for when we meet somebody for the first time. And 80 to 90% of what we're looking for is, can I trust this person? Mm-hmm. The other 20% is, can I believe in this person's capabilities? So how does trust and capability translate in the way you look?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind to me is, if you really respect yourself, you will take care of yourself. And so if you take care of yourself, you will come across as someone who is more reliable. That's definitely the first thing that comes to mind. If I come across someone who doesn't love herself or himself enough to really look after themselves, how can I trust that person? And I'm not talking about which brand you're wearing. It's not about that, right? It's really about caring. So, for instance, caring for the clothes you're wearing, caring for your grooming, caring for taking care of yourself, which means if you care for yourself, you also are capable to care for others. That is really my first thing that comes to mind. And so, when you translate that in clothes, this is pretty much the message that is coming across, and people trust you because you come across as someone that trusts your own self and care for yourself, right? So you can also do that for others. That's really my answer to that question.
Yeah, I think
Thank you.
It's a wonderful answer.
Elsa, I'm wondering, how do you work with your clients? What does that process look like?
Well, since COVID, it's been very interesting shift, and I really pivot my business online. So I work a lot online lately, a lot. I do one-on-one in Paris and also in London. So I do travel for my clients. I'm actually traveling a couple of months per year in America as well, because I do have also clients in the US. But depending on what my clients are looking for, I do my color analysis, my personal styling and wardrobe edit online. So I really work in a way, I kind of like adapt my services to my client as well. So for instance, those are my main services. But if a client of mine comes to me with a specific need, I definitely adapt myself to my client. Did that answer your question, or you need more specific about that?
No, that definitely answered my question. I'm just wondering, people who are watching now or watching on the replay, and they're thinking, you know, I could use a style. I could use a consultation with Elsa. How does that work? What can I expect during that time?
Oh, well, you can expect me to really, dig deep into. Okay, so the way I work with my client is pretty simple. My formula is I want to translate who you are from the inside to the outside. So this is my goal. Then I use components for that. I use a color analysis. I use a body shape analysis. I use my wardrobe edit analysis. I use a lifestyle analysis and a style personality analysis. And why I use all of those? Well, if I don't understand your body shape, how can I advise you clothes that are right for your body shape, right? I need to know your body shape. I need to understand what is best for you, what fits your base, what is going to put you, on your base fits. I need to understand your color because I want you to have that color to enhance, your overall look. I need to understand your lifestyle. I have to recommend clothes that fits your lifestyle. Just going to give you an example. If you are a mom, you might have a wardrobe that is split in different in different outfits. A part might be for your busy day with your kids, a part might be for your day at work, and a part might be for your evening dating or whatever if you are going out a lot. So that's why I need to understand your lifestyle, because I need to make sure that the budget we're going to allocate for the spending are going to fit your lifestyle. My goal is not to it's not for me to have you spend a lot of money on clothes. My goal is to have you build a wardrobe that is versatile and that work for your lifestyle, for your budget, for your body shape, and for your style personality as well, and also a color that fits your color analysis.
I love how comprehensive this approach is, don't you, Richard?
I love it. I think I need to have a consultation with you, Elsa. The question that I wanted to ask is, you say that we must dress according to our authentic self from the inside out.
Mm-hmm.
How is it more important to dress the way you really want to? Is it important to do that, or is it more important to dress how you think is appropriate?
It's important to do both, and it's important to find the middle line between, okay, as an example, you work in a corporate environment, so you obviously have to respect a certain dress code. But within that code that you need to respect, there's still a room for us to work around that. Okay, who is my authentic self, and how can I translate that with the clothes I'm going to be wearing? So both components are very important.
Okay.
Thank you, Elsa. I have a follow-up question to that. And Richard, I'd love for you to weigh in on it as well. So I spent my whole career up until last year in corporate, and it was an environment where you would wear suits and you're calling on senior level executives. But I've always been a little flashy. I've always been like taking it to another level, so to speak, because that's just who I am. And so I was reprimanded several times during my career that I needed to fit in and tone it down. Tone down the red nail polish and the red lipstick and the red suits and, maybe the scarf. So Elsa, what are your thoughts about that? Can you be an individual without being threatening?
You can, but it's true that sometimes rules are rules, and I mean, I see more and more of my client now. I think the corporate environment kind of like changing a little bit, because more and more of my clients have more room to be a little bit more casual, business casual in that environment, which is good. But some environments are, yes, very strict about that. And the only way that women can sometime, or men, I mean, it's more easy for women because they can play with makeup and accessories, have a little bit room for creativity, is actually through those things, through maybe an handbag or a scarf or some jewelries, even though they have to be a certain way. So that's the only little room that they have to play around. But also, yeah, it's not the best place to really express yourself fully. So some of my clients, actually, it's very funny. They have two wardrobes. They have their corporate wardrobe, and they have their wardrobe for the weekend, the holidays, which is a completely different one. So there's definitely a place for that in your life, because you're not always at work, right? So, yeah.
Exactly. Thank you. Richard, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I find it very interesting because I don't wear ties. It's just something that I've been doing for the last, well, I've been working for myself for the last, I don't know, probably, goodness, 30 years, 28 years, I've been working for myself. So I've been able to choose my own style. But tie or no tie, Elsa? My dear friend and our dear friend Philip at what was the British School of Etiquette, which is sometimes regarded as quite formal, which has now become the British School of Excellence, because we are offering a whole lot new programs, including your image and style program. Is it okay not to wear a tie and a jacket? Or do you think it's important to wear a tie? For me, knowing our organization,
it's okay not to wear a tie. It's very common now to see. It's true. It's very common now, and more to actually see, as I was saying earlier, business casual. It's becoming normal, so to speak, right? Obviously, you have environment where you need to be wearing a tie, but it's not a shocking thing not to wear a tie. I don't see that as a problem personally.
Great.
Well, how do you feel, Richard? Is that a big sigh of relief there?
Well, it's a big sigh of relief because I'm also in Africa, as you know, and we have very hot weather here. So wearing a tie is quite stifling in our weather. And I'm sure the way you dress and the way you style yourself, Elsa, is also sort of dependent on whereabouts in the world you are. Am I right?
Of course, it's of course. For example, I mean, it's not because I want to talk about me, but I'm just taking this as an example. Since I became a mom, I've been wearing a lot of flat shoes, which I was not doing before. Before you would see me most of the time wearing heel, right? But I have to run around with my daughter, and so my wardrobe it's pretty much still the same, but I had to buy and adapt to my new life, even though my career is the same, because I have to adapt. I have to adapt to Paris, which is not the same environment as Miami. So of course my wardrobe had to follow in that sense. So yes, it's definitely a key. Environment is key.
It's huge. It's huge. And to your point,
sorry.
I was going to say, to your point, Elsa, I'm actually on an island. So before this, I lived in a high rise and I was always dressed up with 5 or 6 inch old shoes. And now I'm barefoot broadcasting today. So I think the environment really does make a difference, because if I were to walk around in high heeled shoes with this scarf, people would be like, whoa, where does she think she is? So I think it does make a big difference. We have to take a quick break, and we're going to hear from our friends at Our Choice Fashion, and then we'll be right back to have more conversation. Okay?
Great. Thank you.
Stay with us here. We'll be right back.
When all my broken sneakers started to pile up in the wardrobe, I realized that we have a problem. Sneakers are made from plastics, and plastic is not mendable. My name is Philip, and I'm one of the founders of Our Choice Fashion. How many times did this happen to you? How can eco sneakers save the world when they break after only a few months and we have to buy pair after pair that breaks? We are here to give you the solution, a choice for truly sustainable fashion in the world's first circular sneakers. On average, we all buy 3 pairs of sneakers each and every year. This adds up to 25 billion sneakers per year, of which most end up in landfills. This adds up to 350 million tons of CO2 emissions, the same amount as for the country of Italy or the state of California. So we started to develop a product that would have all the old-fashioned qualities. It is mendable, it has a classic design, and it has a natural comfort. Because we chose the best designer there is, Mother Nature. The sneakers get more and more comfortable the more you wear them. Made from vegetable tan leather and natural latex from the rubber tree, the sneakers are both sustainable and comfortable. These sneakers are made from pure raw materials that are both fully biodegradable and fully recyclable. The best thing here really is that when your sneakers need an upgrade, you just send them right back to us using the same bag that you got them delivered in. We then resole your sneakers, put on a fresh pair of laces, and give them a nice new polish. This means that you can wear your sneakers for many years to come. Our sneakers are more than sneakers. They are a circular function, and we developed a smart pull for you to step into your sneakers without stepping down the heel. This means that you get a truly sustainable grip. We've got a fully circular business model, and that's why we'll only produce sneakers on your demand. Book your product now and get that sustainable grip at a discount. We've been on this amazing journey for 2 years, and now we're inviting you to also make a choice for truly sustainable fashion. Try the world's first circular sneakers, 100% plastic free, and I can promise you that our choice will be your companion for many years to come.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Power of Etiquette and Manners here on USA Global TV and Business Talk Radio. Richard, Elsa, and I have just been having a wonderful conversation about style, what to wear when, and I think how to really be authentic and tap into who you are and have that manifest in what you're wearing. But as Elsa was mentioning, that in certain environments you have to adhere to whatever the rules they might have for dress code. So I'd like to start with that, with dress code. So I remember when I was in corporate, there were all kinds of switches for, you can do this, you can't do this. And at some point it even got down to whether or not you could wear stockings, or if you could wear sling back shoes, if the back of your foot could be showing. So I'm just wondering, around the world, how detailed do dress codes get when it comes to style? Is it that specific in Africa? Is it that way in Paris, that it's actually, you can wear red nail polish, you can wear a tie? So what are your findings? I'll start with Elsa.
As far as I've been working with different clients in corporate, I mean, not all my clients are in the corporate environment. Most of them actually are okay with business casual wearing. But for the few the few people I've been working in corporate, it tends to be pretty much the same dress code wherever you are working. I remember actually being on a show not very long ago, hosting a workshop for corporate wear for women in Africa. And the dress code were pretty much the same. actually the same when it came to color. You know, the blue navy suit, the charcoal, the gray, the M line, not to, you know, the M line rule, 2 inches above the knee or 2 inches below the knee. The handbags, all of the things were pretty much the same. So from my experience in with a couple of corporate clients that I've had, I came across rules that were standard. Then what I can see a lot happening now is, as I was saying earlier, business casual became somehow normal in the world we live in now. More and more and more people have a little bit more freedom to be wearing denim, or mixing that with a jacket, a yellow jacket. So those things are becoming a little bit more common as well.
Thank you so much. Richard, what about there in Africa? What have you found?
It depends what country you're in. I think in the Arabian countries, people would wear the sort of standard Arabian outfit. In the more Anglophone or Anglicized and Francophone countries, people dress pretty much what Elsa says, you know, pretty much standard corporate dress like it is everywhere else in the world. But if I think of places like Nigeria, like Ghana, like Morocco, even Mozambique, people dress more colorfully. You find that the African, what would you call it, color board is more primary colors and mixing it up and patterns. And you find men and women dressing in more colorful ways. And then, of course, you have African traditional dress, which we celebrate in our country on Heritage Day. And if you were a Zulu woman, for example, you would wear Zulu traditional dress, which is absolutely exquisite, beautiful. Or if you were a Xhosa woman, you would dress in Xhosa traditional dress, and so on. But I think, just my perspective and my experience, corporate is corporate, especially in the financial services field, in the telecommunications field, in those sort of perhaps more conservative corporate environments. People wear suits, men, women wear suits, as Elsa was explaining. But as soon as you move into where people are entrepreneurs, people are involved in the creative industries, very colorful, very colorful.
Thank you. Something else I'd like to touch on, because I think we see more and more of this, people wanting to express their creativity through tattooing and through piercings. So I'm wondering, Elsa, when you're working with clients and maybe they have a full sleeve, they've got piercings, whatever the case may be, are there any style recommendations that you have to incorporate that into their wardrobe, into their look?
Funny is, I've never had a client which had a visible tattoo. So I would say if that would have been the case, yes. If that person, you know, was, for instance, in a corporate environment, obviously the advice would have been long sleeve, something to cover that tattoo. I do have myself tattoo on my arms that I cover all the time. They're here. And I do cover them depending on where I am. Those were tattoos I've made when I used to live in New York. That never prevents me to work with corporate clients or any client actually, because I would just cover them and I would just know when I could show it and when I could not. And that went completely fine. But I never came across a client that actually had the same tattoo as I do have, but that would be my recommendation if that would be the case. It really depends where you live. Some place it's very trendy to have a tattoo and it's fine. If you are an entrepreneur and you work in a creative environment, it's maybe completely fine. If you are working in a more corporate environment, well, some might be thinking to remove the tattoo completely. or some might be thinking just to cover them. You have people like that. Daytime corporate, cover everything. The rest of the time, they just show off the tattoo and are dressed up completely differently.
Thank you. Thank you. Richard?
Yeah, you know what I'm really interested in is what are people's emotional responses to different color? So, you know, like for example, I know that politicians will wear a blue tie, which denotes trust, or they'll wear a red tie, which denotes power. So, you know, like, is it important to think about the kind of emotion you will be creating by the color you put on?
Yes, it can be. If you are, for instance, again, working in a corporate environment and you want to create a specific message, for instance, as you said, the red tie and the blue navy suit, for instance, the contrast will create authority. So the higher the contrast, the higher the power dressing and the authority will be. If you then were, for instance, a blue navy, navy suit with a blue navy tie and a white shirt, the lower the contrast, the lower the authority will be as well. So this is definitely something that politicians take into consideration. In my way of working, because my aerobics, my clients are not politician maybe or corporate, for most of them. I do wear color for different purpose. So for my clients, they color and to enhance, the eyes, the skin, the hair, and obviously to look younger, healthier, and to have a color that doesn't drain them, but on the contrary, light the face. So for instance, today I've been wearing that color on purpose because I know that color is one of my color, and it automatically gives a little bit of glimpse on my face. So I'm gonna look more healthy, I'm gonna look more happy, and it does actually have that effect on me when I put that sweater on. So this is pretty much where I'm standing when I do color with my clients. It's more on an emotional level, how do they feel, and actually a color that really fits their skin tone, that doesn't make them look tired and drained, which is something very important, because when you wear the wrong color, it definitely has an effect on you. You can look more older, you can look more tired, you can actually have your dark cycle that pop-ups more. So it just has an overall effect on your face as well.
I think that's such a valid point. I know when I'm putting on my makeup, as soon as I put on the red lipstick, I feel like, yes, I have arrived. All of a sudden, my whole demeanor changes. And before that, I kind of feel like low energy. But yet, after a day of broadcasting, I'm going to go to the gym, I immediately take it all off because it feels weird that I would have red lipstick and a bunch of makeup to go to a gym. So I think you bring some really valid points. We've got a comment, let's see, from Hyatt Ives, another great program from Dr. Jacalyn. Well, thank you. That's because of Richard and Elsa. Thanks for watching, Hyatt. And by the way, Hyatt, if you have any questions about style, please put them in the comments and we'll answer them for you. Okay. Richard and Elsa, I'm wondering, as people are out there and they're thinking about, I have a certain money that I want to put aside next year for my new wardrobe, should they incorporate some type of sustainability model? So we just watched that wonderful clip from Philip Westerland for Our Choice Fashion about the circular sneakers. And I'm thinking, can we incorporate maybe some type of vintage clothing, or maybe clothing that we might get at a secondhand shop as opposed to going out and spending on new pieces? What are your thoughts about that? I'll start with Richard.
I'd rather Elsa answer that.
Okay.
My daughter goes to thrift shops and finds wonderful outfits there. But personally, I've never done that. And being a young person, she's 21 years old, she sees the importance of it in terms of sustainability. So yes, I've experienced through my daughter, and I certainly it would encourage that. I think it's a fantastic thing, and perhaps I should be going and looking for jackets at secondhand stores. I'm not sure what Elsa thinks.
I do secondhand a lot, actually. So this is one of my topic. I think it's a great option. So you have different way of being sustainable. So the first obviously is, okay, I'm going to buy a secondhand handbag or a secondhand jacket because, I mean, there is a big price difference when you buy secondhand and when you go directly to the store, and also it's also sustainable. The second point is some people are not comfortable with the idea of buying something that was already owned. So sustainability is not always with, okay, you need to buy from a sustainable brand because sometimes it can be also costly, or you need to buy from a vintage store or a thrift store. It can be also, okay, even if I buy at Zara, I know that I'm gonna buy piece that fits my body shape, my lifestyle, my style personality, my color. And so I know that everything that I'm buying here, I'm going to be able to wear it. This is what we call the cost per wear. How many times I'm going to be able to wear that piece. And this is why it's very important actually to come to see a stylist and an image consultant, because when you understand your body shape, your color, your style personality, how do you need to dress for your lifestyle, and edit your wardrobe, which is something I'm going to talk about a little bit later, you are less likely to be making mistake. So you are less likely to be buying just piece here and come home and be like, okay, well, I actually don't know how to put the thing together. So being sustainable is understand all of this as well, and so you are able to buy less, but buy with a target, by knowing that you are going to create different outfits together that are going to be able to suit your lifestyle for a specific budget, and that going also to last longer in your wardrobe because you're actually going to be wearing them because you need them. And they also are good for you because they fit your lifestyle, they fit your style personality, they fit everything about you. Then your wardrobe is another thing. It's like before you go and buy a new thing, you need to clear your closet. So you need to understand, okay, what do I have here that doesn't work for me anymore? That's the first thing. And then you either give that away, sell that away, whatever you want to do with it, that's fine. Some of my clients, I've been working actually with clients of mine in Miami and in New York, where we actually redesign some of the clothes. So I've been working hand by hand with a tailor back then in Miami, where for a client of mine, she had a dad jacket, which we retailor for her. That's another way to do it. And so you go through your closet, then you really look at what you wear every day. And most of the time you actually wear the same thing, but you don't realize, but you actually go towards the same thing. So you just, okay, that's the pile of, I'm not gonna wear that anymore. I know, get rid of it. That's the pile of, I actually wore those items. And that's the pile of, I don't know. And so with what you keep, trying to create style with it, and then you will see what are the missing pieces. And then adding missing pieces with new items that you are going to buy. That way, you actually creating a wardrobe that is less likely to have a lot of junk, but more likely to be working for you. So those are
great points. Great points. Thank you for sharing that. I am very much about going through my closet and then giving things away. So I have a friend who's the same size. She's 30, 40 years younger than me, I forget, but yet she loves the clothing, and it makes me feel good to know that it's not going to waste. And at some point, and people can do this, you can go on eBay and sell your things. There's a lot of websites, Facebook Marketplace. I remember I was running 60 auctions at a time of things that were my personal possessions that I was selling, and they were all either, you know, slightly worn or hardly worn at all. And ended the story, I had this beautiful pair of shoes, red Valentino pumps, that a woman in Australia bought, and she wore them in her wedding, and she sent me a picture of her wearing the shoes at the wedding, and it just touched my heart, because it just keeps going, right? They just keep, it's creating a new memory with somebody else, and I think that means so much.
Of course, it does.
Yeah, and you know, you talk about clearing out your cupboard, and Dr. Jacalyn, we've spoken about Feng Shui recently, and you know, in Feng Shui, you talk about space clearing, and literally, what Elsa's been talking about is going into your cupboard and space clearing, and almost giving it oxygen, almost allowing space for new beautiful things to come in. And so we see this circle of life happening. You give away what you don't need, and I think giving away is a wonderful thing rather than selling, if you can afford to give away. And then just allowing new energy and new stuff to come in. One thing that I'm very interested in, Elsa, is wearing the right color for your skin tone. How do you go about that if you cannot afford an image consult like one would normally do with you?
Oh, you can honestly find a lot of answer online. You can find a lot of answer online with basic color palettes, or they will give you basic information on which season you are falling into. The process that I use is being created by Feria, someone that I've been training with. It's called a 4x4. And so it's a 16 season process. So for example, if I say that you have 4 seasons, right? So let's just say that you are a summer, just to say, then I will be able to tell you how light or dark of a summer you are. Okay, so you have the pure, the tint, the shaded, the pure, tint, tone, and shaded. So 4. So that will be the value, okay, of where you stand within the summer group. And this is done by using drape, which are either digital drape when I do that online, or the physical one. And this is how I work with my clients. And by doing that analysis, you know, I can, you know, give that answer to my clients. And then they have this, which I've had here. So this is for example, a tone autumn. Okay. So when I do the color analysis with my client, they receive that either as a physical or as a digital. For my online client, most of the time they have the digital swatches, but some of them want to have the physical scent. And my one-on-one, they obviously have this as well. To answer your question, it's you can do online research. If you really have no clue, you will find basic information out there. But it's always worthy to come and see a stylist for that. It's really something you take away with you. I mean, look at this little fan. It has all the explanation at the back. So if I take, for instance, that color, which is a camel color, it does tell you the wardrobe used, the neutral, and it does tell you the effect of it. Okay, so it does say down to earth, approachable, natural. So you have a lot of things to take away when you go through a color analysis with a stylist.
That's really helpful. Yeah. That's a great question. Thanks for asking that. A question I have, Elsa, is there used to be, I don't know if there still are, certain rules about when you can wear white, when you can wear suede, when you can wear velvet, different materials, or is it anything goes anytime?
Of course you have rules. You don't want to be wearing a white dress for a funeral. You don't want to be wearing like a bright velvet, purple velvet, or like you're talking about the just the fabric, like a velvet. Oh, velvet might be inappropriate in a corporate environment. You don't want to be wearing a velvet jacket, for instance, in a corporate environment. I don't see that to be appropriate. So you do have, obviously, yes, occasion where you can't wear certain thing. If I go and pick up my daughter later today at the nursery, not if I go, when I will go to pick up my daughter at the nursery later today, I'm not gonna be wearing my velvet Alexandre Vautier red jacket, for instance, because they're gonna look at me like, wow, like, what's wrong? What are you wearing for? So everything has an occasion, as I said earlier, no matter the fabric, the color, the cut, everything has an occasion.
And you can help people with all this information. There's so much to know.
Wow.
Yes, there's so much to know. There's so much to know. And actually also a new project that has been launched lately. I do have an app where for my online clients, I can do direct recommendation on the app. So you have your profile that is great. I can create your mood board, your recommendation. You can upload also the picture of your closet. And we can directly chat through this app. And you are also able to buy and click directly from the app the item I recommend for you.
Wow, this is exciting. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So once again, you can work with people anywhere in the world on any budget.
Yes, yes. I always work with my client budget, of course.
I love that.
I think there's no question. If you invest in allowing Elsa to help you with your image and style, it's going to last you a lifetime, right, Elsa?
Of course, of course.
So it's in my country we say goedkoop is duurkoop, which means it's worth spending that little bit extra to get the real deal. Perhaps it's the Mercedes-Benz as opposed to the Volkswagen.
Well, think about it. You invest in a stylist, but then you will not make mistake anymore. How much money will you be saving?
Wow.
Huge.
Yeah.
Huge. Elsa, before we close out our show, I'd love for you to share a little bit about the course that you're offering at the British School of Excellence. Is that okay?
Sure. So I will be discussing the power of image and basically what it is so important for your personal branding as well. So I will go over what is style, the importance of personal branding, and the 5 key components to master when you really want to master your style. From style personality to color analysis to knowing and understand your body shape, budgeting and also understanding your wardrobe, and also understanding your lifestyle, your TOP, and how to address that style to all of this. So this will be what I will be covering in my courses.
Thank you. And when do your courses begin?
I got a little bit confused with the dates, so I will just let Richard go on that. I'm sorry for that. We've been back in the email and actually had a question.
I spoke to Philip this morning, and there are a couple of hurdles that we've just got to go through in order to get your brochure organized, get your webpage set up. But I know that you and Philip have been friends for many years, and this has been in discussion for a long time, I think, Elsa.
Yes.
And, as the British School of Excellence, we are so excited about you selling your course through the company and to our clients all over the world. And not just our more esteemed clients, but as we've discovered on the show today, style and image is for everybody, and it just depends on what your budget is.
Exactly.
Thank you. So it sounds like it's coming soon.
It's coming soon.
Yes.
But in the meantime, Elsa can be reached directly and we'll do a image consult and a style consult with anybody who is listening in or watching the program. And Elsa is available at elsabstyling.com, based out of Paris.
Exactly.
Thank you so much. And folks, it's the contact information for Richard and Elsa is on the comment section everywhere we're streaming except Business Talk Radio. So that's why we give out the information. You can also email her at Elsa, ELSA, at elsabstyling.com. And that's B as in boy. Elsa, thank you so much for being here. I hope you'll come back and visit with us again.
Thank you so much for having me. And if I may just add something, through my experience, I've worked in London, America, New York, Miami, Paris. And I've traveled a lot. So my understanding of trend is pretty much international, which means a client can contact me from Miami and I will know exactly what they need to wear. Because guess what? I know the trend there. I know the scene. Same for New York. Same for different places in America. Same for London and obviously places in Europe. So this is something that is also an asset to my expertise.
Thank you for sharing that. She is your go-to person. So please do reach out to Elsa. And if you're just joining us, you can go over to our YouTube channel, USA Global TV. And this broadcast will be under the playlist, The Power of Etiquette and Listening. All right. Thank you again, Elsa.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. We'll see you again soon, hopefully.
Bye.
Thank you, Elsa.
Bye.
Bye.
So many wonderful tips that she shared.
Yeah, and I had some more questions that I wanted to ask about, do you wear stripes downwards? Do you wear them across? What about squares? All of those kind of things. So I think when you really think about it, style is quite a vast subject. And having a professional to help you to put together your wardrobe that suits your personality, that suits your intrinsic and authentic self, and that suits, what was it? Time, occasion, and people. Fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I think we'll have to have her back.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, she's going to be around a lot in our organization, so she'll be readily available for another show with you.
Well, that's fantastic. I look forward to it. Richard, I'm going to spotlight you. And again, your information is on all of our platforms. But for people listening on Business Talk Radio, what's the best way to get in touch with you and who should contact you?
Thank you. So my email is richard@thebritishschoolofexcellence.com. I am an emotional intelligence expert, and I run 2 emotional intelligence programs through the British School of Excellence. If you're a knowledge worker, if you're a professional, if you're in management, even if you're a parent, if you want to improve your relationships and you want to get out of your way long enough to achieve your goals, you need to get in touch with me, because the beautiful thing about emotional intelligence, it's something that can be developed and learned and practiced over time, unlike IQ. And the truth is, people who develop their EQ are far more successful in life and in business than people that don't.
Wow, that was so powerful, Richard.
Oh, it's just so lovely being with you. It's such an honor, and thank you again for just having me on the show today.
Well, thank you. I'm really excited because I always take many things away from our interaction. And now, in addition to you, I've also taken some key learnings from Elsa. So I think that's what this is about, is providing education and also entertainment value as well, to give people things, a place they can come to and enjoy themselves and also learn. So thank you for helping me do that.
Thank you. It's been wonderful being with you today.
Wonderful seeing you as well. I look forward to seeing you again soon.
Fantastic. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. As I mentioned, if you missed any of our show, we don't want you to lose out on this incredible information. Please go over to USA Global TV on YouTube and subscribe there. And you can find us on many other platforms as well, but that's the easiest because of the playlist and how everything's organized. All right, we've got some other shows coming up today. We've got fashion, fitness, travel, and leisure. We've got the United Kitchens, stories of hope, inspiration, and overcoming adversity, and presenting pet psychic Amina. If you missed our shows this morning, we had Life's Amazing Journey and also this show. So thank you again for watching. Thank you for commenting, for engaging. Thank you for spreading the word and helping us build our audience all around the world. We really do appreciate it. All right, I look forward to seeing you back here at noon Eastern Time, which is 5 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. Thank you. Bye.